Hi ladies, it's your Jamberry independent consultant Lisa. I just wanted to pop in for a few minutes to show you a different kind of method for people that have very domed nails. What domed nails are is they curve from left to right, you can see mine do here, and they also curve from the base or the cuticle to the tip of the nail. So I'm going to get something so you can see a little bit better. You see how a lot of my nails are pretty flat, my pinky's flat, the ring's pretty fat, middle finger's a little bit curved, but it's not too bad. But when I go to my index or my pointer finger, it's really curved from the base to the tip. And the other one is that way as well. You can see I've done this one already. I've done all my nails except for my one finger. So I wanted to show you how I do that. And again, this only applies if you have nails that curve both from the base to the tip and from left to right. Otherwise, you can use the 1, 2, 3 method that I already posted. That's what I do with all these other fingers except for my 2 index. So I've already pushed back my cuticle, and I usually do that with my fingernails. That's just easier for me. You can use an orange stick, you can use a cuticle pusher, or you can use your nail in the opposite hand, and that's just what I'm comfortable with. And I have my nail prep cleanser. I like to use this. You can also use rubbing alcohol. That works just as well. I like this because it comes in this bottle that has a push top, and it'll squirt right onto your alcohol pad. It also has a locking lid, so if I twist this, it won't push down and nothing will come up. So if you're traveling with it, or if you're just carrying it around the house, if you have it locked, even if it falls over, or even if this top breaks off, it doesn't matter. It won't leak as long as you have it twisted into the lock position. So I've got some alcohol in here for my nail prep cleanser. And I'm just going to wipe off my nail good to make sure that those oils are off, because you saw me put my thumb on there, got my oils on it when I was pushing back that cuticle. So I get those oils off. And just in the time it takes for you to do everything else, your nails should pretty much dry well enough that you can put your wrap on. I've already got my wrap picked, and I'm using Clowning Around the stripes from Clowning Around to put with my tungsten sparkle, which is just like a black sparkle, to go with my rainbow stripes. And I'm going to use my orange stick to peel this off of the plastic. I'm just going to peel the plastic back enough that I can get the orange stick under that cut end. Just going to put my finger on a little bit just to pull it off. And if it's a little bit crooked, that's fine. You can put it on if you want to reposition it. Just put it back onto the back in a little bit and just pop it back on the stick. I've already got my heater on, my Jamberry mini heater. I love this thing. It's got the red dot, so you know it's on. You can probably hear it a little buzz, but it's got the little kickstand, so you can set it down to use it. But it also folds flat, so it goes right inside the application kit that I was just holding up earlier to show you how curved my nails were. So I'm going to drop you down here so you can see what I'm doing. And I am doing my right hand. I'm right-handed, and I'm doing my right hand. So this is a little trickier. So like if I can do it right-handed, then you can do it with your, or left-handed, you can do it with your regular hand. So I'm going to place it onto my nail, just like you normally would, and you can see I've got a little bit of a cuticle. So I want to make sure that I'm placing it so there's just a little bit of a gap so that the oil from the cuticles, just the natural oil, won't get onto the wrap and make it lift before it should. So you can see I've left just a little bit of a gap from my cuticle to the wrap, so it's not sticking too close. And the other thing I like to do is I like to make sure it's positioned, because my nails aren't always even. Sometimes what looks like the middle on the top isn't actually the middle. So what I like to do sometimes is just very lightly press over on the wrap to make sure that I've got a little bit of a gap. And it looks like I'm okay. on this one. You can see just a tiny bit of a gap in the side there on both sides. So I'm okay. And I'm just going to pop that middle back out. You'll see in a minute why. Because I don't want it to touch my nail where I don't want it to before I'm ready. And again, this is just with these really domed nails. It's not usually too much of an issue. You do need the rubber cuticle pusher for this method. It's called the clipper method. And there's another method for domed nails called baseball, which you can absolutely look up on Google or YouTube. I don't use it once I found the clipper method, but some women swear by it. So the first thing with the clipper method is I'm going to heat it up, and instead of going directly from base to tip like you do with 1, 2, 3, I'm just going to make sure that the base is secure all the way around. So the bottom third or so of my nail, I'm going to make sure that that's pressed down really good, because we don't want any wrinkles on the bottom. So I got that down good. And then I'm going to heat it up, and this is where I'm going to go from the base to the tip. So this is actually the second step instead of the first step for the clipper method. So I'm going to go to the base to tip to make sure that's down good. And what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to focus on the top of my nail. So you can see, I want to make sure that the top of the nail is fully down like the base now is. I'm not going to worry about the sides yet. We'll get to those. So we're going to start where I just pressed it down at the tip in the middle. And we're going to go out to each side, pressing along the tip of the nail. So I want to make sure that that tip of the nail is pressed down. Again, not worried about this right now. We got a big old mess going on, but that's fine. We're going to fix it. And then I'm going to do the same thing from the other side. I'm going to go from the middle of the tip out to the side, making sure that I'm pressing down on the wrap right along the top edge. I'm going to bring this down here so I can work on it a little better. Then I get another blast of heat. Make sure both sides are down along the top edge. It's a little bit hard to tell because I've got some extra on here, but you can see how I don't have a gap between the edge of my nail and the wrap. That's what we want. The next thing is we're going to worry about the big old hunkin' mama jama wrinkles that we have in the middle right now. What we want to do here is we want to get one large wrinkle on each side. So in order to do that, we have to press down from the top and we have to press up from the bottom. And we also want to kind of make sure that we're also remembering to go in from the middle out, just to make sure we don't have anything weird going on in the middle. So we're going to do that. And remember that the heat is your friend, because the heat is what makes that wrap pliable, so that you can make sure that you are pushing it into one big wrinkle instead of getting a bunch of little wrinkles all the way down. So don't forget to heat regularly. And if you do have a certain pattern in the wrap, it sometimes helps to kind of just be aware of that when you're trying to make this one big wrinkle. If you've got, you know, mostly one color, but then there's a pop of this other color, maybe you want to make sure that big wrinkle is in that mostly one color, just so that pop of other color can shine. And if possible, don't make that big wrinkle if you've got a metallic wrap. Don't make that big wrinkle when there's a big bit of metallic, because the metallic the super shiny part of it that reflects is not as forgiving to any kind of imperfections, any kind of wrinkles or cuts. We're going to be doing a cut here. So I've just about gotten those wrinkles down to 1. And depending on just how domed your nails are, it might not take you this long. It might take you a tad longer. It just depends. But the results will be worth it, trust me. Alright. So I've got my wrinkles down to 1. So let me do one more little bit here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is the other thing I need for this trick is this is the clipper method. So, surprise, surprise, you're going to need a pair of clippers. And I have got the clippers from our deluxe toolkit. They're very sharp, and the most important thing is you have to have sharp clippers, and you want to make sure that they're curved. They have a little bit of a curve. Most of them do, but some are flat, because we're going to be pressing, cutting directly on our nail, the top part of our nail. That's why they want to be curved, so it kind of matches the curve of your nail as well as you can. So we got my 2 big wrinkles. Kind of go head on. You can maybe see I've got those little wing tips that are sticking up. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting those off, just straight down the side. I'm going to put my clipper on here, and I am going to cut that little sucker off. And that's why you need them as sharp as you can be, because you want to cut as close to your nail as you can. And I'll usually go in a second time just to see if I can cut it any closer. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Sometimes I'm just so awesome that I got as close as I could the first time. And I'm sure you're going to be really awesome too, so I know you're awesome. So, and again, I'm going to go back into that second time just to make sure I got as close as I can, and I did. So, I did my clips. Not quite done yet, but you can see those little wing tips are gone. I don't have those anymore. Now it's just, you look at the side, you can kind of see something's a little funky. So what we're going to do, our handy dandy friend heat, we're going to heat that sucker up, and we are going to push from the middle out so that we can flatten and smooth that cut we just made as best as we can. It won't take too long. Depends on how picky you are, and I do not mean that in a bad way. I have a tendency to be kind of picky too, because I want my nails to look as good as they can, and I want these wraps to stay on. Because know that if you have a wrinkle in those wraps, if they don't lay flat, that means something can get on under it. And if something can get under your wrap, then something can stay under it. And it's nice and dark under there. You know, it likes to grow in warm, dark, wet places. It's funguses, which we do not want on our nails. As long as you have your wraps on right, as long as you have a good seal all the way around, then you won't have to worry about that. So that's why I take a little bit of extra time for these funky nails of mine. Alright, I'm just about done. Alright, we are good to go. So you can see, I'm going to pop you guys back up now that I'm done doing that kind of stuff. You can see my messy hair. And if you look at the nail here, if you look super close, and I'm about an inch away from the camera right now. So if someone's an inch away from your fingernail, then they will see those little bits of divots and catch the light where there's just a tiny bit of a bump from where I clipped it, and it went from no cut of the wrap to a cut of the wrap. There's a little bit you can tell, but if you're at a normal distance, you can't even tell that there's a clip there. So that's what we're going for. Now I still have my little excess wrap on there. It was giving me troubles when I was trying to push everything on. So I am just going to use my handy dandy little nail scissors to cut most of that off. And then I'll use my file for the rest, just like you normally would. So there's that. Grab my file. And what I do is, you may have noticed I kind of have some longer nails going on. I like to do the regular 90-degree file that Jamberry recommends. But after I do that, I go in and I do a 45-degree angle. And the reason that I do that is because my nails are so long, I have a tendency to use them as tools, which you're not supposed to do. You will hear Jamberry say, don't use your nails as tools. You'll hear everybody say, don't use your nails as tools. But you know, when they're long like this, if I don't use my nails as tools, then I have to go and grab something to use. And I'll be honest, in the day-to-day, I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to use my nails. And I know that I am at risk of causing damage, of breaking them, or doing something. But it just doesn't happen enough for me to go towards that, having to get a tool, some sort of tool to do whatever I'm doing. So, and this, my glass file I'm using here, it is not the Jamberry glass file. I got this before Jamberry sold glass files. I do recommend our glass files, but I'm also cheap or frugal, if you like frugal. I'm cheap. And since I already had this before Jamberry came out with the glass ones, that's why I'm still using it. Glass files are just nice because they'll last pretty much forever. If they start to get where they're not filing as well, then all you have to do is just wash them in warm water and a mild soap, and then just let them air dry. And then they should start filing just as good as new again. Really the only way you're going to make this so it's not going to work anymore is if it actually breaks. And then you don't want to have any glass shards coming off in your fingers. So at that point, it's time to throw it away. But up until then, you can just wash it whenever it's about time. And this one is getting close to needing washed. So I just took my excess off and I'm going to do that little bit of an angle because of that whole tool thing that I just talked about. And that will be it. And we are good to go. So there's my all 10 nails. That was the clipper method. Thank you for bearing with me. I know that was a long one. But hopefully you ladies that have more domed nails like my index, hopefully that'll help you if you've had any issues. Again, it's Lisa, your Jamberry consultant. You can shoot me an email at pbandjamwithlisa@gmail.com. And you can go to my website at pbandjamwithlisa.jamberry.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Lisa Waldy, Jamberry Independent Consultant. Thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.